So you want to know how to live in the end. How do you know that you're living in the end? Well, I'm going to tell you, and I'm actually going to give you some of my own personal experiences. And I have seven ways for you to know that you are living in the end. What's good, you guys? My name is Autumn. Welcome back to my channel. It is my intention for this video and any video I make to help strengthen your resolve in your I am and to help you realize your manifestations, you guys. So today I have 7 tips for you to know how you are living in the end, and I'm going to talk a lot about my personal experience to see if you relate to these. So if you relate to this video or any of these tips, or if you have tips of your own, like, share, and subscribe, like the video, and get down in the comments and let's share. All right, so we're going to get right into it. All right, so the first sign to know that you are living in the end, and this is for me very specifically, the first place that I tend to notice it is in my relationships, my friendships, my relationships with my family, my relationships with when I used to work a 9-to-5, like my job, or just my career, like even in my business when I knew it was time for me to let go. I first noticed a change in my life, in my relationship, or in relationship to the things that I had such a close relationship with. And remember, you guys, if you watch my video, my last video, I talked a lot about when you set forth an intention to expand your capacity to hold something new or to become something new, you usually have to expand your version of yourself. And what it does is it pushes out to other people to reflect back to you. If there's conflict in relationships, conflict on a job, conflict with anything that you are doing, then it's letting you know that you are creating that energetic space to level up. And when you're friends with people on a certain level that you are on, sometimes those people may not resonate with that next level that you are going to. Hell, you don't even really resonate with that next level you're going to right at that moment a lot of the times. So it is uncomfortable in relationships when you find that your SP or your partner is not treating you the way that they used to, or you're just feeling like, I don't know if this relationship is what I want anymore. For me, it comes in terms with a lot of my friends. So this year specifically, I have definitely lost a lot of my friendships, some willingly and some unwillingly. But this is one thing that I've noticed that's different about any other time that I've kind of separated from a relationship with one of my friends or a partner, is this time I understand it for what it is, and I don't try to dictate the relationship. I let things be, and I understand, and I look at them in a different light because I look at myself in a different light now. So I have no expectations on people trying to fit into or change these people into the way that I would desire them to be in this moment as I'm in this reality. So the only thing for me to change is my perspective of myself. So I move perspective of myself to that new level, or that new Autumn that I want to be, and I assume that position, and I allow the relationship to dissolve if it's supposed to dissolve. If it's not supposed to dissolve, then me and that person, we can, I can envision them like being how I want them to be. But I don't try to force the relationship, you guys. I don't try to make or persuade anybody to accept the new version that I'm becoming. It is, if we are meant to be, then we will be together on that level. All right, so I don't try to dictate that situation especially when I am calling for an energetic space to open up. Now, I know we can see people however we want to see them, and as in time goes on, a lot of those relationships I have gained that relationship back, but I also notice that that person is different. So the main thing I want you guys to understand is that you are not changing anybody on a specific level. You are changing yourself and changing the perspective of them, that, they are reflecting back to you that this version of you the one that you're trying to become now is not supporting or gelling with that version of them, letting you know that you are leveling up in a certain area of your life. I hope that makes sense. All right, number 2, this is something that I'm really going through right now, you guys, and sometimes it's a struggle and sometimes it's not. I mean, I really wouldn't say it's a struggle. I would just say that when I come back down to the 3D, when having to deal with the 3D, I recognize it, and then sometimes it makes me uncomfortable, and that is no longer resonating with where I live, or you no longer resonating with where you live. It could be your city, it could be your apartment, your house, whatever. You're not resonating with the community that you're in, you're not resonating with the neighbors, you're not resonating with your roommates. Like, you are really realizing that you in this space, or that current space that you are in, does not resonate with you anymore. So you guys know, if you've been watching my vlogs or been watching my videos, you guys know how I am about my dream house. It's something that I've really been, you know, really living in my reality, in my mind, in my imagination. I live there so much in my mind that sometimes when I come back down to the 3D and having to deal with the 3D, and I realize like where I'm living, it just makes me realize I'm like, I don't really resonate with the area that I live in anymore. So that's a sign for me that I'm already living in the end of me being in the dream house, and I really just take that time to really imagine myself there all the time. I'm living there more than I am living here. That's where I'm dwelling mentally, and so I know that I'm living in the end every time that I'm consumed or entangled with my imagination in pertainment to me having my dream house. So that's the biggest thing for me too, especially when I knew it was time for me to move to my dream city, which I live in now. I knew, because I was getting so, I don't know, I was getting so antsy with where I used to live. I knew that it was time for me to make that shift. So that's how you know you are already living in the end, or your manifestation is coming in, you guys. Number 3, and this one is very important, and I notice this in a lot of people who are really striving to make a change within themselves, and this is you starting to take more care of your appearance, or more care for your body. You're more concerned with what you eat now, with what you do, with what you put in your body, what you put into your mind. So a lot of people stop watching TV, a lot of people stop doing those certain things that they used to do. You just take more care for yourself and who you're around, so you're very much more protective of who you are becoming. And so you realize that certain things and certain people, certain places, they affect your mind. And so you're in this space where you're like, okay, I need to be more cautious with what I put in my mind and my body. So you take more care of yourself. You might start to work out more. You might start to eat better or healthier, or incorporate more foods, like health foods, into your diet. You just may do a complete switcheroo where you're just like, now I'm this type of person, I'm healthier, or I want to better myself, I want to read more, I want to meditate more. It's like when you start to add those things in, it is really you signaling that you are choosing something that is helping support the person that you are being in your new reality. So that is also how you know you are living in the end, by the care that you take for yourself. Now for me, I know when I'm not myself, or the highest version of myself at any level that I've ever been to on my journey throughout my life, when I'm not dressing up, when I'm not putting my makeup on, or even just putting myself together, making sure that I don't lounge all day with my night clothes. And some days I do that, but it's not a consistent thing. And even when I'm just really paying attention to what I'm listening to, or what I'm putting in my ears, what I'm watching, I know for me, that's when I'm shifting. Every level I'm getting to, the next level or next identity I'm going into, I know that I'm shifting in that way when I start to think more about what I'm putting into my body, what I'm putting into my life, and what I'm doing to make myself more healthy. All right, so number 4 goes with number 1, but I feel like this one needs its own little tip. So the next one is that you are no longer forcing reality on people, places, things. You're no longer forcing your will on the current circumstance that you live in. Now, we've talked about it before, but every reality that you live in at any given moment is its own reality with everything already playing out. It has its own movie role, we can say, that is already playing out, and it has a beginning and it has an end. So, and there's multiple of them in the quantum field or the universe. You just choose which experience you want to experience. So as you're upgrading and you're moving towards a different experience, you realize, it comes a point in time where you realize that if you're forcing relationships with people, or if you're forcing a job to work, or thinking you have to do more work or work more hours or do this or do that, whatever it is you feel like you got to do, and you know that you've already created space for you to open up to receive something new or to be in a different environment. If you say that you've been wanting more money or wanting a different job, but you consistently worry about the bills that may be piling up, and then you're like, okay, like I need to get a second job, or I need to do this, or I need to do that to make something happen on a timeline or a film roll that's already playing out, you got to stop that film roll and then take that movie out and then put another one in that suits the experience that you want to have. So when you stop forcing your will on it and you're just like, okay, it is what it is, I'm only paying attention to what I want from here on out, and I'm gonna let this movie role dissolve as I catch on to whatever experience that I want to live. So you no longer try to force that reality into what you want it to be. You just shift yourself to another favorable timeline. All right, so number 5 is one that really just pushes me forward every time I decide to do this. And this for me is something that sometimes feels a little hard in times when I've really wanted to make big shifts in my finances or in the way that I feel about myself. It is acceptance of that current reality. And we talked about this on about, I want to say 2 or 3 videos ago, which I talked about when I had that breakdown in my car where I was just thinking about how I accepted this version of my life. Like, even if the negative things or perceived negative things that were going on, I accepted that too. I accepted that I created that reality just as much as I created what I wanted. So it's all God. It's all perfect. I just had this moment where I was like, it's all perfect. It's just what I want to experience. So I need to only pay attention to what I want to experience. It's not that that experience was bad. I stopped placing that meaning on it. I was just like, okay, what do you ultimately want to experience? You know, you take that for what it is, you accept it, and I don't try to change it. So it's really about me reframing my mindset around that current circumstance and realizing like, okay, like it might be a little irritating at some moments, but I'm going to relax and I'm not going to, you know, try to make it something than what it was. I see it too as part of the plan. It's only showing me that I'm not thinking about what I want, that I'm not moving towards what I want, that old reality, like it's showing me, oh my gosh, I'm glad that I no longer think that way. So you just have to reframe it. See that negative experience as part of the plan of you getting to where you want to be. All right, now I have a few stories about this next tip that I'm going to give you guys, because I felt this so strongly on 2 major occasions in my life. The next one is feeling like you are in a whole other reality, like everything feels different, like even in your body. Like, I don't know, I'm gonna explain it. So I remember when I finally moved to my dream city, when I finally moved to Texas from Florida, and I packed up my whole life. Like, it happened so fast within a week, you guys. Like, when I was like, I'm going to have the life that I want, and I just literally went and found an apartment and did all these things in like 2 days. And then the next thing you know, I booked a RV, not RV, but a U-Haul, and I packed all my stuff and I drove all the way down here with my car attached to the back, and I just literally made it happen. And it's like so crazy, because it's like, I don't know, it's like when I woke up that next day, when I finally was in my apartment and everything was set up, it was like I don't know, it was just like a daze through that whole week that I just didn't even realize that it had happened, that I was living actually physically in my 3D reality was showing that my business was popping off, like I moved, like I had all these things that like I've been already envisioning that I have, but to physically like have it and to physically be in the presence of it, it was just insane, you guys. It was insane. So when I woke up the next day, I just looked around and I felt like I was in a whole other reality. Not just because things looked different, it felt like I tried to think back to who I was like that day before like I moved, and I could not even like, I couldn't fathom, I couldn't think about it, because I was like, who is that, or who was that? It was just such a dramatic shift that I had moved from that identity to the identity that I was now, and it was just so plain. Like I still to this day don't have certain memories. It's not until I look back in my camera roll when I see those memories and I'm like, that happened, or I'm like, who is that? I can barely recognize myself, you guys. So that's how I know. And then the other one I had was when at the beginning of this year, you guys know that my business that I had, like now I no longer do that. And as soon as I made that decision, I woke up that next day, like it literally felt like 10 years ago. Like, it's so crazy. I looked at my Instagram page that I had for my business and all these things, and it literally no longer really resonated with me, you guys. Like, it felt like it was 10 years ago, and I felt like I just got pushed 10 years ahead. And now I'm just like, who was that? Or who was I at that part of my life? Like, I don't even know. But same now, just within this last week or 2 weeks ago or even a month ago, you guys, I could look back at pictures and I'm like, I don't even look the same. I don't talk the same. There's a lot of things that I don't do. It's just really constantly shifting and staying in that identity that you want, you guys. And it's like, I'm telling you, when you really do it with the intent that you're living in your imagination instead of living and focused on the 3D, like by the time you actually have that moment to look back, you're gonna be like, what the hell was that I went through? Like, I don't even remember that person. I don't even recognize myself. It's literally like that, you guys. So literally feeling like you live in a whole other reality. And number 7 to end it off, you guys, and this one is really personal to me because this is something that I've really like thought about, and when I had my moment in my car the other day of my breakdown. And this one is really simple, but it's so like missed by a lot of people. And the last one of how you know you're in the end is when you trust in yourself, you guys. When you realize that you're listening to yourself more than you're listening to other people, more than you're looking at your 3D circumstances, more than you're looking at YouTube videos. Like, even me, I stopped watching a lot of people like on YouTube in general. Like I stopped watching a lot of content, and I just got focused on being that person that provides the content from my inner compass, from my point of view. I don't know, it's just like you stopped needing everybody else's input or needing validation or needing opinions. You just do what it is you know that you are meant to do or you feel like doing. And it's just so crazy, you guys, because it's like I realized, like, for me, trusting in myself, I had to give myself more credit for me to like just be like, all right, I'm no longer doing this business that was very successful, and I quit in a time where it was doing really well, to pursue something that was more me. Even though I didn't understand it at the time, I was like, I'm gonna trust you. And I trusted myself. And now, like, although I'm not exactly where I want to be, the way that I feel now about myself, it's like, girl, I will follow you anywhere. I will follow myself anywhere. And that's what I want you guys to really understand. It's just really listening to your inner compass, like getting so good at like trusting yourself and trusting your I am, that you already know what to do regardless of whatever's happening on the outside. It literally makes a difference, you guys. Like, I'm trying to tell you, you guys. Now, out of all the things that I've told you, out of all the tips that I've given you, what was one reoccurring thing through all the tips? Yeah, it's all about you. It's literally all about you. How do you know that you're in the end? When you are solid within yourself, you guys. When you understand that you are I am. That's what it is. It's not changing anyone outside of you. You are accepting and you are neutral about the situations, and you allow things to play out, and you just hop on. You don't concern yourself with what's going on the outside. You just get on to wherever you need to go, and you're only concerned about that. You're not concerned about anything else. So how do you know you're in the end? When you're so in tune with yourself, you guys. It's all about you. There's no one, not a soul on this planet to change but yourself. Please understand that. that's pretty much it, you guys, for this video. This is how you know that you're living it in the end with the tips that I have from personal experience. Now, I also want to tell you guys something crazy. So I'm not a planner by any means, but I realize the more that I get into what I'm doing, I know I haven't put a vlog out in a minute. I am in my productive era, girl. I am in my productive era, and I've just been like making content and like really, I don't know, being in the moment, being outside and chilling and doing everything that I want to do. And today I was like, I need to find my planner that I brought at the beginning of the year, because I've never wrote in my planner. I never wrote in a goals planner that I got. I got 2 different planners, and I was like, I'm gonna start. And I'm not a planner girl normally. I'm like, that don't resonate with me. But today, for some reason, I was like, I really want to plan. I want to plan. And so when I pulled up my planner in my goal book, look what it says. It says, hold the vision, trust the process. The universe is always talking to you, you guys. It's always talking to you. And so just for me to have that, it was just like, yes, like this feels good to me now. And now I'm so excited to write down. I wrote down what I'm doing for the next few months, and I just feel like so, like this resonates with me now. And I'm like, this is how I know I've shifted into a different version of myself, because me, a while ago, even just yesterday, I would have never thought that this was fun. All right, you guys, so thank you so much for watching, guys. Like, share, and subscribe if you want to work with me. All the information is down in the description box. Make sure you follow me on all my socials. And you guys, imagination is on your side, and I am too. Bye.